Hi guys, and welcome to part 2 of this 3-part series. If you'd like to watch part 1, my diagnosis, then the link will be below and probably here and at the end, and part 3 will be coming soon. There's my phone. So part 1 addressed my diagnosis, and part 2 is going to address my daily life. My daily life of good days and bad days. I filmed this today because yesterday was a bad day, especially for my anxiety. So whilst it's fresh in my mind, I thought I will just get this done. So first of all, I'd like to say some days I do just feel normal. I do just feel healthy and like I'm okay. I now think, sadly, they are my good days. And I think anyone with mental health will have those good days and will recognise those as your good days. That will be when you wake up and you're not worried about what the day is going to bring. You're not worried about your work. You're not worried about your loved ones. You're not worried about yourself. You're just enjoying the day. And you also don't have this big cloud over you. So good days, I'm lucky, and my good days probably are about 75% of my days. I would say I have between 4 and 10 bad days a month, I would say. And of course the bad days range in severity, and they can range for being 1 day to 4 days to whatever, and I have learned to predict them, well not predict them, but recognise the signs that I'm going to have a bad day. And I'm quite lucky. I recognise that that my good days definitely outweigh the bad days. But yeah, they happen, and it's hard because it's not a bad day like healthy people have a bad day. When you have anxiety and depression, your bad days are debilitating. They are as debilitating as having a physical illness. Some days it is just hard to get out of bed, and I know that sounds really ridiculous and like I am making up an excuse for being lazy, but some days you just don't want to leave your bed, and no amount of Netflix, no amount of YouTube, no amount of junk food will help that. I personally, on my bad days, don't eat, which obviously has a really bad influence on my physical health. I remember when I had my first really bad spree of days, I was still living in Liverpool, and it lasted for about a week, I would say, and I think I ate about half a loaf of bread and a packet of crisps in those days. I actually remember my housemate at the time feeding me because he was worried that I was not eating, and I lost so much weight. I also am lucky that I have a very high metabolism, and I actually saw photos of my depression body, as I call it, from 2015 when I was really low, but I hadn't been diagnosed actually. But I remember, and I looked at it and I just thought I was just skin and bones. I didn't like. But yeah, so these bad days, yesterday's bad day wasn't a can't get out of bed day. I knew it was more anxiety than depression. My depression days are mostly I can't get out of bed days. My anxiety days are the funny little thoughts that go in my head. So it's not like schizophrenia or bipolar in that way. It's your self-doubting everything. So yesterday I was alright at work. Work really makes me focus and concentrate, and it's physical, so I'm getting out that inner rage as well. But I remember on the way to work, I caught myself, and this is one of the, not triggers, but one of the signs that I am going to have a bad day is, and my friends laugh at me, but I get a fuzzy elbow. So, you know when you've whacked your elbow and the nerves go funny? That is what I feel in my, sorry about my phone, that's what I feel in my elbow. And I also clench my jaw, which is something that I didn't realise I did until I've done it. So I'll really clench, and I realised because I get the headache up here, and oh my word, I just got to work and I was like, unclenched my jaw, and I just, oh, okay, it's gonna be an anxiety day. And so yesterday night was bad. I just came in and finished watching Game of Thrones, and I also completely wipes you out physically. So I didn't have a full-blown anxiety attack. I haven't had one of those since July. July was the last anxiety attack I had, and that was because that was on an anniversary of something. But yeah, it completely wipes you out. So you are physically exhausted as well. I think I fell asleep at about 10 o'clock and I woke up at 9 o'clock, so I slept 11 hours. Yeah, that's how it physically affects me, I suppose. It can just hit though, like sometimes it will be triggered by an anniversary, like the July one. So that one was triggered by the fact that it was 2 years since I'd been diagnosed. It was playing on my mind. It kind of hits home that you've had this illness recognised for 2 years, you've been on medication for 2 years, that sort of thing. But then some days, like yesterday, nothing bad was happening. It just happened. I find as a biological female, my PMS gets so bad. I suffer really badly with paranoia when it comes to that sort of time, which is obviously a form of anxiety, and I get paranoid that people are going to leave me, people are talking behind my back, people hate me, people just don't want anything to do with me, basically, and that I am truly alone, which really sucks. But I've learned now to keep telling myself that that is the anxiety, that is a side effect of that. So yeah, it's pretty hard, and I just have to keep telling myself that I'm lucky that it's not worse than it is. So talking about how I feel about people, I will talk briefly about relationships. So I find it very hard to make friends because of my anxiety and my depression. I find it even harder to maintain romantic relationships because I almost constantly feel like I will be abandoned. So I constantly have to nag them almost, and it's not the sort of thing you want to put on your online dating bio, like Hannah, 6 foot tall, blonde hair, blue eyes, suffers with mental health, will nag you about abandonment. It's not that appealing, so you feel like you shouldn't tell them because it will put them off, but then you also feel like you should tell them so they realise that you're not, you can't help it, basically. It also makes me need to plan, and I need to be able to trust people to stick to those plans, and this is something that Chris hates that I do, but I will like send them reminders throughout the week. So if I plan it a week in advance, I will be like, are we still on for Friday? Are we still okay for tomorrow? Are we still okay for tonight? And I will do that, and he's like, I told you it's okay. But it's because I constantly think that people don't want to see me. They don't want to do anything with me. It's almost a chore to do things with me. And I like to think that that isn't me, and that they're not bad people, because I don't like to think of people like that, and I hope that it's not like that, and I hope that that is the anxiety and that is my mental health, because I think like that all the time. Like, I was supposed to go camping this weekend with friends and we had to cancel because they double booked, and in my head I'm just thinking it's because they hate me, it's because they don't want to be with me, it's because they don't want to see me, they're just using it as an excuse. They haven't really double booked, they just don't want to see me. Why would anyone want to spend time with me? And of course that's probably not the case. I really hope it's not the case, but that's how it feels. So I have to plan, and I have to remind people of plans, because it's constant feeling of abandonment, which is anxiety, then triggers the depression because you're alone. And when I last had my last checkup with the doctor, I have 6 monthly checkups, which I think they've now moved to annual checkups. He actually suggested that I move back home to my parents who live in Southampton, because I was obviously so lonely here, and I don't have that safety net to rely on. I don't have, because I've probably put up these barriers, people who will always be there. I have probably 2 people who will have the time of day for me, and that's really hard. I mean, when you have a bad day like yesterday and you're having to convince people, or I'm not trying to convince people, this is my brain telling me I'm trying to convince people to see me, so I have to deal with all my anxiety by myself, and then I have to deal with all the depression by myself as well. Luckily, probably something will happen tonight and it will be okay, and I'm also having a really nice day tomorrow, so I have that to look forward to. So again, I have to make plans to give myself something to hope for, but then the anxiety, it's a horrible vicious circle to, like, catch-22, round and round and round, because then I also find it really hard to be adventurous. So if I did want to go out and make new friends, I find it so hard, and I have to be introduced to people, because I could not, like, just go and sit in a pub by myself and just start talking to people. I went to one pagan moot earlier this year, I think it was like February time, and I was like, great, I'll meet new people. Have I been back since? No. Why? Because my anxiety is telling me not to. It freaking sucks. But yeah, I just have to keep reiterating that 75% of the days are good days, 25% of the days are bad days. And yeah, that varies month to month. But yeah, that brings me to the end of my daily life episode with mental health issues. I'd just like to reiterate the message that I had in the first video, my diagnosis. If you are feeling anything like this, if you are suffering from depression or anxiety, or you think you have anything wrong with your mental health, just go and get yourself diagnosed, or just go to the doctor, see what you can do, see what you can get, see how they can help you. If you broke your leg, you'd get help, so why not go for a broken brain? I hope you enjoyed that video. If you have any questions about my experiences, then please leave them in the comments below. Please give my video a thumbs up, and to see part 3, please click the subscribe button. Until next time, guys, bye.